our next storyteller coming to the stage, it's Ian.
So when I graduated college, I decided that I wanted to do something big and bold and unusual. And I wanted to get myself out of my comfort zone. So suffice it to say, going down that path, I did not expect that it would end up with me in handcuffs from the LAPD. So when I graduated, I got a job with something called AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps is like a domestic Peace Corps where you do like full-time volunteer service and you give back. And I got my position in South Central Los Angeles, and I am as white as can be from small-town Washington, right? So I had never even sniffed an inner city before. So this was really, going to be unusual for me. And I remember one of the searing images in my mind when I got to South Central was the fact that there were bars on every window and in front of all the doors, and I'd never seen anything like that. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, okay, I think I'm out of my comfort zone now. Now, I worked with an organization, an umbrella organization called the Notre Dame Mission Volunteers, and they put all of the volunteers in this former convent on Vermont and 57th. And I was partnered with a guy named Justin, and Justin and I were stationed at a K-8 school, like 2 miles away. And when you do AmeriCorps, you don't make a lot of money, right? Not enough money to get a car or anything. So we had two options to get there, which was either the bus or walking. And we're in our early 20s, and we're like, let's walk. Let's walk every day through South Central, 2 miles there and 2 miles back, because we're going to learn something. We're going to learn something more than if we just took the bus. So that's what we did. It was not without incident. A couple of times people rolled down their car windows and shouted at us to go back to USC, white boy. I had a guy with a baseball bat follow us down the street for a little bit. But they ended just fine. And the more you did it, the more you got comfortable and the more you got known in the neighborhood. So fast forward to Christmas break is coming up, and I'm going to fly back home for the first time since I've been there, and I want to get a haircut. So I'm going to walk to my haircut. So I go out of the convent, and I cross the street, and I immediately hear shouted at me, "Stop right there." And I'm not sure, like I didn't know who was saying it, so I look around and I clock, there are two LAPD officers in the middle of the street. I'm thinking, oh, I guess they're getting me for jaywalking because I should have crossed at the corner there. So I say, "Excuse me?" And they say, "Put your hands above your head." And so I'm like, okay, I comply. I'm like, I guess they take jaywalking really seriously here, right? So my hands are above my head, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm getting really scared. This never happened to me before. And they're not answering my questions, and they just take my hands behind my back, and they cuff me right there. And again, they're not saying anything, so I'm like really confused because this is not jaywalking, but I was just going to get a haircut. And so one of the cops goes around and starts searching around on the ground. I don't know what she's doing. The other cop, he's not answering my questions, but he's asking me some. And he gets to the question, "So what are you doing around here?" And I say, "Well, I'm an AmeriCorps volunteer. I live in the convent. I work at a school." And then what he said told me why I was in the situation I was in, because he said, "Yeah, well, when guys like you are in this neighborhood, they're usually coming from USC to buy drugs. So is that what you're doing?" And as the realization washes over me that for the first time in my life, I'm a criminal or whatever because of my skin color that I've never experienced before, the other cop comes over and shoves her hands in my pockets and just starts rummaging around, jostling my body. And then I'm just like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "What did you throw on the ground?" And I said, "What?" And she said, "You threw some drugs on the ground when I told you to stop." And of course I didn't throw any drugs on the ground. I didn't have anything. And all she found in my pocket was, lint, and she couldn't snort it. So, they had to let me go because they couldn't find anything, I guess. So they uncuffed me finally. And I'm walking away, and they say, "Well, you just be careful around here." I'm thinking, I've never felt more unsafe than I've felt at this moment in my life. And I know that I had the privilege of my skin color, again, for the fact that I was uncuffed and I was just let go and trusted that I didn't do the thing that they were accusing me of. And I think that there are a lot of other people I know that don't have the same privilege because they're the wrong skin color and they're getting accused of stuff all the time. And we're living in Los Angeles right now and people are the wrong skin color and they don't have the privilege of telling their story because they are getting disappeared off of the streets all the time. So I don't know what to do because I'm really confused about the whole thing. And I want to help and I don't know what to do except to say that I'm really glad that I took a walk that was really uncomfortable for me at one point in my life, and I think that the only way that maybe we can get our way through it is that more people take walks like that as well and get themselves out of their comfort zone because we got to build empathy. I don't know any way else around it. So I thank everyone for telling a story here today because this is an empathy machine, and I guess it just starts with telling stories, so thank you guys.
Please give it up one more time for Ian.